Welcome back to some of the best stories from r/TalesFromTechSupport. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. And now let's take a look at the first story. It's called Company Savings. I was instructed to reduce spending in IT by a certain amount before the end of the year. The company as a whole needed to cut 3 million in spending by the end of the fiscal year because reasons. I was specifically handed a list of potentials as a recommendation to cut. First thing I did was collect all of those people and give them two lists. The number of phone line accounts versus the number of employees and the number of fax accounts that are inactive. For 2 weeks, those men and women worked hard. They scoured Active Directory, the horrible phone website, and verifying the fax accounts. They found over 12,000 phone accounts that cost $22.95 each, that belong to termed users but are still active. We did the audit on the fax system by determining who has not received or sent a fax in 6 months. We found over 37,000 accounts inactive. Of those, 9,000 had never logged in, 12,000 were termed users, and nearly everyone else had set up their eFax and never used it. The rest were people who rarely faxed as a backup. They wanted their accounts to stay, so 35,500 accounts and $19.50 each a month we were spending. So far, we were at a little under 1 million a month being spent on useless things. I started to go through vendor programs A to G, looking for similar instances. These included programs like snipping tool-like programs, password manager, a couple of CRM programs, and a stock program that a couple hundred employees literally never used. After that was done, I worked with the server dudes for 2 days, getting these accounts directly associated with our Active Directory accounts. Every single user now has creds associated with AD. Now, when a user is listed as terminated for 7 days, it terminates said accounts at the end of the current billing cycle. As a side effect, we now had single sign-on. All in all, I saved the company over 2 million a month. Today came with the promise of an all-corporate supervisor meeting and the crap that entails. The CEO said, "I am very glad all of you are here. As you all know, the end of the fiscal year is approaching and we must trim the fat, so to speak, for year-end financials and the IRS." He goes on like this for 20 minutes and then has everyone go around the table. We aren't supposed to say things like, "We terminated X number of users," but instead say things like, "We'd reduce salary costs by X%. Accounting said, "Our department was able to reduce financial responsibility, in particular salary, by 12%, saving the company 80k a year." Okay, very good. Marketing? We reduced financial responsibility by 45%. However, only 1% of that was salary. The rest was from programs we had used in the past but had stopped using. We were still paying for them though. I asked, which programs were those so I can mark them down. Windows programs they stopped using when they switched to Mac, plus a stock program from when the former head of marketing ran the place. She mentioned the stock program I had removed, the one we were paying for in IT, not marketing. I let it slide. If anyone else has terminated a program, let me know please, and I will take care of anything that needs to be taken care of on my end. 2 more departments tried to claim credit for my auditing work. When it finally came to my time though, the CEO said, "Well, we are just about out of time IT. I'm sorry, but..." CEO, I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's information in my report which is not only vital to this meeting, but will have major implications on everyone in this room and the company. Okay, proceed. As supervisor over the IT support area, I have increased the salary responsibility by 20% as a way to save money. HR asked, "Come again?" Using the list of suggested layers from HR, I gathered those exact people for a team to audit all cost-incurring systems that are utilized by our company IT. How does more employees save? Came from accounting. I interrupted him. Using this audit, we have determined that there are over 100,000 accounts belonging to various programs, services, and paid software. These accounts either belong to termed employees, people who did not even know they had the account, people who did not use the accounts ever, or people who simply changed computer systems. In fact, vendor system A, B and C were not being paid for by marketing, accounting and sales respectively. Those costs were incurred by IT. With that, I hand out the leaflets showing the money came from the IT budget. The CIO asked, "So, what does all of this mean? We have tied every single vendor account, cost incurring service, and basically every single system that we pay per employee to that employee's Active Directory account. This effectively creates an SSO for our users. On top of that, it creates the immediate savings of 2.3 million with accounts terminated for terminated users, accounts terminated that were literally never used, and accounts terminated for programs discarded." The CEO was ecstatic. 2.3 million, that is what I like to hear. A month. Yes, I dramatically revealed that 2.3 million was not annual, it was monthly. So, let me get this straight. We all here as a company have been wasting 24 million a year on things no one used. Terminated employees and discarded programs? Yes. However, with the addition of tying all accounts to the Active Directory credentials, we've effectively stopped this from happening in the future. Why was this allowed to happen? Your predecessor as a CIO created the storm, and we as a company inherited it. I never had the urge to look into these issues, as they are not directly IT related issues. I just refused to fire my guys for no reason other than to save money. No IT employees are lost in this. In fact, we gained 2. These 2 are part of a team in charge of all vendor accounts. They will approve, deny, create, change and manage all vendor accounts. What will this team be called? Maybe vendor accounts? I'm still hung up on these accounts. How is it that they were allowed to accumulate like that? The former CIO set up these accounts for other departments, but set the cost to go to IT. No one looked into it for IT, because why would we? These are not IT programs. They are our company programs. If you want to blame someone, blame the former CIO. No one in the room knew some of these accounts existed, until I had the urge to look them up. There was a long pause. Then I said, look at it this way. Now we have an extra 24+ million to spend on expansion of the company. The next story is called Bad Mouse. I owned a computer shop. We donated to our local county nature center by installing a network in the campus, which consisted of several one-story buildings, elevated a few feet above the ground on pilings. We ran the cables and installed the network drops in the required locations, and installed and configured the routers. We have learned that it never works to give things for absolutely free, because then there's no end to what people will ask for. So we asked them to pay the wholesale cost of the cable. That's it. Everything else, including labor, was free. About a year later, they started having random ports go intermittently bad, and the problem seemed to be getting worse. They asked us to troubleshoot. We went out and found the problem was that rodents had bitten into some cables in multiple locations. Sometimes, but not always, this severed one of the wires at the point of the bite. If the severed wire touched even after being severed, the connection would work. Sometimes. This intermittent fault took several hours to figure out. Since they had not actually bitten chunks out of the cables, just bitten into it, the cable appeared undamaged visually. The way we found the problem was to run a hand down the cable, looking for a kink or something, and feeling the little nick. Close examination showed the bite. Once we knew the problem, it required rewiring a few runs and telling them they had a bad mouse problem. Get an exterminator. The diagnosis and repairs took 16 man-hours on site. 2 people all day. For this we charged only for our actual cost of the replacement wire itself. About 30 days later, I got a call from the county accounts payable. We have found conclusive evidence of fraudulent billing on invoice. The bill for the network diagnosis and repair from your company. Since the amount is under $100, and this is the first instance of a problem from you. If you agree with the assessment and promise never to do this again, we will ban you from doing business with the county for 1 year. If you agree, we will send paperwork to that effect. I was shocked. No way will I agree to that. This was a donation of our time, and we only charged for the wire, so it wasn't a freebie. We did nothing wrong. Why do you think we did? We ran the diagnosis and bill by our IT department as a random check. They said there was no possible way your explanation of what was wrong and what you did to fix it could be true. You can dispute this and we will have a hearing. But if you do this and it goes against you, you can be permanently banned from doing business and may even face charges of fraud. I want a hearing. We get to the hearing before a county board or something like that. Accounts payable to the IT guy. Look at this invoice. Do you remember us asking your opinion on this? What was that opinion? Yes, it said the network was losing connectivity to specific drops, and the problem was due to a bad mouse. I said there was no way a bad mouse would have that effect, especially on other computers on other ports. The counsel guy to me, do you disagree with this? Can you explain how a bad mouse could do that? Yes, it bites the wires. The IT guy was shocked. What? So I explained, look at the invoice. It does not say a computer had a defective mouse. It says there was a bad mouse problem. Rodents bit the wires. We installed new wires. We donated our labor to do so and provided the wire at cost. That does make sense. Well, okay, we'll drop this one, but we are going to be watching you. The third story is called Blame It on IT. I was a student back then, and during summer, I've managed to get an internship as an IT admin. The work was quite nice. I was doing help desk stuff, but also things with servers, and was involved in SAP deployment. Support of users was one of my tasks. The company was from the automotive sector, and I was working in the production plant connected with offices, so I had to support both facilities. One time I got a call that was unusual, as we always reminded users to write tickets, which were responded to in real time. So it took a maximum of 10 minutes before I contacted the incident submitter. What are you doing with the scanners? The whole line has stopped and we are completely blocked now. We can't do anything without them. They are not working and showing errors. The caller was a lady in her mid-50s. The production leader. The line was about a 10-minute walk from my office, so I stayed on the phone while I was walking there. Okay, tell me what is going on. Calm down. You are messing with the systems again. You should all be fired. I am writing to your manager as soon as it will be fixed. Please calm down. We have not done anything with this since January. It was August. Yeah, sure, you never admit to your mess. At this point, I was already fuming, but still played it cool. I finally arrived at the line and asked her to hand me a scanner. All people from production line were standing there with crossed shoulders and looked at me like, here you go, you messed up, so fix it. And the leader said something like, oh, here you are, now make it work after you messed up. Basically, the scanner was just something like a Windows PDA with a scanning module, nothing fancy. All she had to do was to power it up, type the username and password, and it was ready to go. It was all about scanning the barcodes of airbag parts. So I take the scanner and look at the screen. Back at her. Back at the screen. Were you asked to change your password recently? Yes. What kind of question is that? We don't have time for this. Because the screen says that you have typed the wrong password 5 times. And you are always reminded that after this, the scanner locks for 20 minutes. And, by the way, you have free backup scanners. So why didn't you use them? You messed up, not me. And it's not okay to talk like that to any employee of the company. So I will surely report it to your manager. We have call recording enabled on our mobiles. We didn't, but she could never know. She was shocked. I left her with that. I told the story to her manager. She apologized officially to the whole IT team, brought some of the cheapest cookies from the store, and basically pretended to be sorry. Still, IT was the most hated group in the company, but I guess that's the way things are. The last story is called Remove the Boxes. I received a ticket from a company we provide IT infrastructure and support to. The company is a marketing company with specific requirements and budget, so there was no going away from tower PCs. One day I received a ticket from the department manager asking me to remove the ugly boxes as they don't need them. I decided to call the department manager and explain about the boxes. Good, you are calling to arrange the collection. I would like the boxes collected in precisely 1 hour, as we are going to a conference later. We were talking about disconnecting about 40 PCs. No, I'm not calling to schedule a meeting, but to explain that if we remove these boxes, you won't be able to use the computers. Do you think I'm stupid? No, I'm just explaining that you won't be able to use your computer without the computer being connected to the screen. What are you talking about? I don't look under my table to use the computer. Look, you obviously don't know what you are talking about. I want to talk to someone who knows about IT. I also want your first name and surname, so that I can make a complaint. My name is X. I'm not giving you my surname for data protection, and I do know what I'm talking about. Trust me, if you remove the actual computer, the box you are referring to, you won't be able to use the computer. The DM hung up on me at that. I closed the job, documenting everything. A week's gone by, and we get an emergency call out, stating that none of the computers are working. We arrived to find all the computer towers had been cut free from their cages and removed. What happened to all the towers? You wouldn't help, so I got a professional team to remove the boxes. See, it's possible. No, I don't see. Now you can't use the computers. What a lot of nonsense. Just get the internet working so that we can use the computers again. No, what happened to the computers? Are you stupid or something? They are here. DM was referring to the monitors. Okay, what happened to the boxes? They took them to the skip. Right. You are telling me that you threw away these computers, which are worth £1,300 each? I want to speak to your boss. Now. He's in a meeting. Get him. Now. This is very serious. The DM's boss arrived and said, first you refused to do your job, and now you pull me out of a meeting? Where are all the computers, by the way? DM threw them away, and we need to get them back now, as they had sensitive data on them. Where are the computers? You mean the boxes? Yes. They are heading to the skip. We drove to the skip, but there was no record of these computers being brought in. 2 weeks later, the company suffered data breach, which along with the damage bill caused the company to go into administration. It was escalated. The entire situation was dealt with by my boss's boss, who wasn't providing much information. But I'm told that the M was arrested and that all computers were retrieved by the police. But that's where my knowledge ends. Thanks for watching the video to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. Also, if you want to support me further, check out the channel membership or Patreon. And now I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.